I'm a gender-affirming voice teacher, and if I'm on your timeline, stop! It's time to practice. So today's trans voice practice game is another one that you would probably be better off doing with a friend. Of course, you're always welcome to do these alone. So this game is basically Mad Gab. So what you're going to do is grab a friend, get into your target voice, and then you're going to pull up. Here I have bamboozle.com. So I just Googled play Mad Gab online and I found this. So basically in your target voice, you're going to try to sound out what this says. So this first one says meek came house. So every time you have to repeat it to figure out the practice phrase, I want you to reset your voice. So let's say I'm trying to masculinize. Ooh, meek. Meek came house. Meek came mouse. Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. Awesome. So it's the next one I'm going to try and feminize. Eight hoist or a toy store. A toy store. A toy store. Yeah. So anyway, so this is a game that you can do on your own or you can play with a friend and yeah, have fun, practice, enjoy. Tag a friend in the comments that you want to play this game with.
I'm a trans voice teacher, and today we're discussing vocal anatomy, part 1. Before I can start sharing trans voice training exercises, I need to make sure that we're all on the same page about what this instrument is and how it works. So today, let's start by looking at the larynx. The larynx is a cartilaginous structure that is suspended in the neck by a cage of muscles and is attached to the top of the trachea. It can move freely up and down like when we swallow or yawn, but it can also be moved manually from side to side. The vocal folds are housed within this cartilage. The main function of the larynx is to serve as a valve. The vocal folds can open completely to let air in or close completely to prevent food or water from entering the airway. But the larynx also has a third configuration where the vocal folds come together, but loosely enough that air is allowed to pass through and the vocal folds can vibrate, producing sound. If you sing with your hand on your neck, you can feel this vibration. Stick around for part 2. You've probably noticed that I call myself both a trans voice teacher and a gender-affirming voice teacher. This is because there's a lot of ways to refer to this work. Here are 10 ways to refer to trans voice lessons. 1. Gender-affirming voice lessons. 2. Voice and communication therapy. Voice alteration. Voice modification. Voice feminization, masculinization, or neutralization. Transvocal exploration, non-binary voice discovery, authentic voice work. Now, I'm more comfortable with some of these phrases than others, but it actually doesn't matter what I call this work. What matters is what this work is to you. In the comments, tell me how you like to refer to your trans voice practice. My name's Renee, and I'm a trans voice teacher. Let's talk vocal anatomy, part 2. Today we're looking at the pharynx. But Renee, didn't we look at that last time? That was the larynx. This is the pharynx. The pharynx, also known as the throat, is a hollow muscular tube that runs from the back of the nose down into your neck. It consists of 3 sections: the nasopharynx, behind the nose, the oropharynx, behind the mouth, and the laryngopharynx, which is lower down, closer to the larynx. While the top section of the pharynx is rigid, the bottom 2 sections can change and move to become bigger, smaller, or longer. These muscle movements make swallowing possible, but they're also very important for shaping a vocal sound. Therefore, they're very important in trans voice work. The oropharynx and laryngopharynx, together with structures in the mouth, constitute the parts of the vocal tract that we can change in order to modify the resonance, or brightness and darkness, of our sound. Stick around for part 3.
I'm a trans voice teacher, and if I'm on your timeline, stop. It's time to practice. Today's practice game requires a friend, preferably a few friends. So if you can get the whole gang together to do this exercise, that would be best. And it's called a counting circle. So what you're going to do is you're going to go around the circle and you're each going to say one number at a time. Now, of course, this is a trans voice practice game, so you want to be doing this in your target voice. So take a second to each get into your target voice, then begin counting. Person 1 starts with 1, then 2 says 2. Now, when you get to a multiple of 3 or a number containing the number 3, the person claps instead of counts. So it goes 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 11, 14, 16, 17, right? Does that make sense? Now, this is a brain teaser. It requires you to do a little bit of math, like, okay, multiples of 3, what numbers containing 3. So you're going to mess it up. It's going to be fun. If you mess it up, start again. Start on the same person who started. So we're always starting in the same place and we're getting into it. And always reset your target voice each time you have to restart. This is the secret sauce to this exercise. Because you're going to make mistakes and have to restart a bunch of times, each time you make a mistake and restart, reset your target voice. Let me know if you do this exercise in the comments, and I hope this helped.
I'm Renee, and I'm a gender-affirming voice teacher. If you struggled with the feminization aspects of yesterday's resonance exercise because you had trouble keeping the larynx up, then I have a little exercise for you. Larynx pull-ups.
Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
This is basically like a Kegel for the muscles responsible for raising your larynx. I want you to say E and take note of how your larynx rises by putting your hand on your larynx. E, E, E. Now, try raising your larynx by creating the E shape without phonating. Once you've mastered this basic movement, repeat it and hold it multiple times. You can start with 8 reps, each held for 3 seconds and then relaxed, and then repeat for another set if you're feeling up for it. You can increase the number of reps, the duration of the hold, or the number of sets in order to get the progressive overload needed to build up those muscles. Hi, I'm Renee, and I'm a trans voice teacher. A few days ago, I posted an exercise for understanding resonance called the Key O exercise. If you struggled with the masculinization aspects of that exercise because you felt a lot of resistance when lowering the larynx, then I have a little exercise for you. Tongue root relaxation. As we saw in my larynx video, the larynx is suspended by a cage of muscle, and like all muscles, they can become tense. This exercise targets the geniohyoid muscle, otherwise known as the tongue root. To do this exercise, take the pad of your thumb and stick it in the squishy bit underneath your chin. Not so far back that you hit your hyoid bone and not so far forward that you hit your mandible. It just should feel like squishy muscle. Then try swallowing and resist the force you're going to feel when that muscle engages. You can do that 2 or 3 times. When you're done, try yawning. You might feel a little bit less resistance after this. Since tension is often the culprit when it comes to challenges with voice masculinization, you can also massage the face, the neck, you can meditate, or do anything else that helps you to reduce tension. I'm a trans voice teacher, which means I teach trans voice alteration, also known as vocal feminization, masculinization, and neutralization. And this is how I know that cis heteronormativity oppresses us all. I have cisgender students who have come to me looking to help them better align with their assigned gender at birth. So cis women who want to sound more feminine because their voice doesn't align with their gender presentation, and cis men who want to sound more masculine for the same reason. It's not only trans people who are being oppressed by binarist cisnormativity. It is let's do that again. Hi, I'm Renee, and I'm a gender. I'm not looking down. I didn't script this. I don't know if you can tell. The easier it will be. I can't do it today, Tegan. Okay.